another episode of Live Feed with your host, Richard Santiago. Live Feed is brought to you by Traveling Tech Teacher. For your digital resources, check out travelingtechteacher.com and by thebullyexposed.com, a 501c3 nonprofit organization geared at helping survivors of bullying. So let them help you. And somehow we lost the music. Oh, sorry, technical difficulties there. Hello to everyone joining the show. On the scene with Dean, Sergeant Coabalti. Is that you, Pico? GMV, thank you for joining the show. Konchiwa, Reiko-chan, and Telly, thank you for joining the show. So I know I promised you guys, right, that we were going to talk about sexual abuse. We're going to hold that show off till tomorrow, because yesterday we talked about sexual abuse, and somehow the film or the video did not upload to Instagram. So we're going to do it again today. Yeah, we're going to talk about what's happening at the Ellen DeGeneres show. I think that's a more important thing to talk about. Workplace bullying. A lot of people don't believe in it, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to go through, let's see here. We're also going to go through our video here with Rockstar Games, the bully game. The bully video game, we're going to talk about that as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about that as well on a later show. So be sure to tune in every day, guys. All right. Let's see. MGV says she's a comedian and a chat show host. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Pico says we're going to talk about PP size again. We're going to try not to talk about that today, Pico. So, I don't know what you think about the Ellen show, what's happening. Well, I guess I should bring people up to date. There have been a few former employees, okay, including one ex-producer named Helen Musket, that is alleging that Ellen fostered a culture of fear. Okay, and Ellen's take on all this is, I didn't know it was happening. According to a BuzzFeed report, most of the abuse was going on by a Kevin Learman and an Ed Gavin. Okay, most of the abuse. A lot of sexual abuse from this guy, Kevin Learman, and where he was sexually harassing men. So a lot of interesting things going on. But here's one thing that really gets me. I want to tell you something. Well, let me tell you this first. When I started this 15 years ago, advocating for bullies, I came across a guy who used to work for the IRS, and he was happy. He had a great job with the IRS, right? Anytime you work for the government, that's pretty much a good thing. When it financially a good thing. Sometimes it's abusive, but it's usually a good thing financially. And he was happy. The only thing is that he wanted to live as a woman. So one day he's decided, I'm going to come in and I'm going to, come in dressed in how I truly feel, dressed as a woman. So that's what he did. And shortly, I don't know how long it took them, but eventually they fired him. And it was all obviously because he decided to show who he truly was, And that's a shame because they got away with that. He was never able to get his job back. He was never able to get justice for that. And that's how it's happened. He doesn't like to talk about it, or she, I should say she. She doesn't like to talk about it anymore, and she just leaves that part of her life behind. But she never got justice. And here, let me read this here. The alleged things that were going on is that this other executive producer named Kevin Lehrman was going around. I found it and then I lost it. Let me see. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. He was. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to read verbatim the BuzzFeed report. Nearly a dozen former employees who range from long-time senior level employees to PA production assistants said it was also common for Lehrman to make sexual explicit comments in the office, like point out a male colleague's bulge in their crotch, or to ask them questions like, "Are you a top or you a bottom?" And he always masqueraded it in sarcasm, says a former employee. And it's really, Hollywood is something that really amazes me. They make films, that talk about what we're dealing with in the world nowadays, like racism and everything else like that. And then they go and they allow something like this, if this is true, something like this to occur, where a person can go around and sexually harass all the men. It really is crazy. And in 2017, another former employee said that she saw Lehrman grope a production assistant in a car and kiss his neck. So it really is shocking to me that this person who just wanted to come to work dressed as a woman instead of a man loses their job, but this guy who's allegedly kissing guys' neck, groping people, asking rude questions like, "Are you a top or bottom?" gets to keep his job. And it truly is disgusting. It truly is. Not the part that a man would be attracted to another man. Not that part. Don't get me wrong. The part that he's able to get away with it. Whether you're a straight guy sexually bullying women, or you're a gay guy sexually bullying men, you should not be able to get away with it. And it all comes down to, if you have the power, you can get away with it. So let's listen to a little bit of here we are. Okay, let's listen to a little bit of what ex-producer Helen Musket has to say.
So my experience is everything that you've been reading has been true. The allegations that the ex-staffers and current staffers have been making anonymously. I was the first hire on the show in 2003, and pretty early on when they hired the executive producer, Ed Glavin, to work closely with Ellen, it created already a culture of fear. Ed was a yeller. Ellen knew about it. He would yell in front of us and her in a room. He would just be going off on people with veins bulging. And so from that moment on, we were walking on eggshells. We were always afraid.
All right. So you heard that from her. Now, I know that I'm going to get a lot of hate for talking about this, because there are just some people that always love their heroes, so much that when their heroes don't turn out to really be who they are, and I'm not saying Ellen is not who she really claims to be, but when someone there comes out and says that, they'll come to the rescue and rescue them no matter what. This person can do no wrong. It's a shame. If this is true, I'm just going to say this. if this is true, it's a shame. It's a shame because I'm going to tell you something. I always liked Ellen's first show. I can't remember the name, the sitcom that she had. I can't remember the sitcom. I always liked it. I always liked it. Um, Now, I remember in the beginning of the show, I remember when it came out, in the beginning of the show, she was a straight girl. But and then towards the end, she came out of the closet and she was gay. The girl that played her lover, now I'm not going to go, if you guys want to look it up and then put it in the comments, that's cool. If the girl who played her love interest in her sitcom show was black listed for I think 2 years, maybe more, 2 years after she did the show. Okay, after she played the love interest of Ellen, she was blacklisted from the show for 2 years. She could not find a job in Hollywood simply because she played a woman. So if Ellen is now, she's made it and she's on top of the world, and she's gonna go and do this same type of behavior or something similar, that's really a shame. And I understand that is very hard. I remember I too would get into arguments with other cooks when I was running restaurants, because some people, they don't have the same love that you have. To them, and I'm sure to anyone like Ellen, they love film. Okay, film is their love, and I understand that because I have that same love. Film is their love. They never get tired of talking about. I never get tired of talking about film. Sometimes people come up to me and say, "Oh, can I ask you some questions about film?" I know there's probably something you don't want to talk about. No, I'm always willing to talk about film work. Maybe buy me lunch and then we'll sit and we'll talk about film if I have the time. I love it, and I'm sure Ellen's the same way. And then people like that, life, or their work is at a certain level, so they're very emotional about it, right? It's their art, it's their baby, and that's why sometimes it comes out aggressively. I'm not excusing if this in fact is true. I am simply saying that if you do that, because I've done that, apologize. I've always, whenever I get upset at someone because they're just doing something nonchalantly and they're not caring about the restaurant or the food, I always say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I apologize. It got heated. I'm sorry." And I think that's why employees liked working for me. But so I hope that this isn't true. But I gotta be honest here. I told you guys I'm never gonna bullshit you guys, right? It says that Ellen was the executive producer. If you're the executive producer, there's no way that you did not know that this guy Lehrman and this other guy, give me a second here, Ed Glavin, that you didn't know that they were groping people and what was going on. You knew. Then not only that, former employees are saying that she fostered that type of behavior. Okay, she fostered it, and that's if that turns out to be true, Ellen has no excuse. Sorry, she doesn't. For all you big fans that will blindly walk through any stars, that some stars can do no wrong. She has no excuse if she fostered that type of behavior. To me, it's one thing if someone pitches you an idea. Okay, you're gonna hear I'm gonna play it. You're gonna hear Miss Musket say that she would pitch ideas to her, and she would be rude to it. I mean, she's gonna talk about how she wasn't allowed to pitch ideas, but when she did pitch ideas, she was rude to her. There's no reason to be like that. There's no reason to be like that. I mean, if you If you're accidentally having a rough day and someone pitches you an idea and it stinks and you say, "Oh my God, that's," and you yell at her saying that's the most stupidest idea I ever heard. Get out of my office, you know. And when you calm down, go up to her and apologize, and that would mean that you're not fostering that behavior. But if someone turns around and screams at someone, well, you know what? Why don't you hear it from her own mouth?
A cultural point of view, the toxic environment was there from the beginning. So 16 years later, for her to come out and say she was not aware of it is quite shocking. I was only there the first season. After I won my first Emmy over there, they let me go, saying that